Welcome to the dungeon here at Johnson-Gainesville, Billy Ellis Memorial Stadium. Time for the nightcap of the Hall versus Whitfield County Football Classic. It is national champ, two-time in a row state champ. Johnson-Gainesville, the hosts, 31 unbeaten in a row. And they host the Dalton Catamounts here in the nightcap. Dalton coming in with a record of 4-1. Johnson-Gainesville right now with a record of 3-0-1. We'll go through all the wins and losses and the schedules as we go here for the broadcast. Once again, thanks to all of our sponsors who are helping us promote the sport of soccer throughout the state of Georgia. Game of the week presented by our friends, the high school matches of the week presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. Kaiser Permanente for all that is you. John Nelson here with you. Thanks for hanging out with us for the nightcap here in match number 1 of the Classic. It was a win by East Hall, 2-1 over Northwest Whitfield. East Hall went out to a 2-0 lead, scoring 2 goals 10 minutes apart in the first half, one in the 11th, one in the 21st on a PK. 33rd minute goal for Northwest Whitfield made it 2-1. No goals in the second half, and that was the final score, 2-1. East Hall winners over Northwest Whitfield in match number 1 of the doubleheader. Starters in the matchup for Johnson-Gainesville. Number 1, Michael Perez. He will start in net, the senior. Evan Rohde, number 2, on defense. Number 4, Miguel Duran on defense, a 2-year starter. Josue Mendoza on defense, the sophomore. Number 5, Alex Gonzalez, number 8 in the midfield. One of the tri-captains for head coach Frank Zamora. 2-year starter here on campus. Number 9, David Arteaga, 2 goals, 5 assists. One of the senior forwards up top. Number 12, Yandel Castillo, sophomore, playing at the back with an assist so far this season. Number 14, Daniel Trujillo is at forward, 2 goals on the season, and with his time at Concord Fire before his time here at Johnson-Gainesville. Also, Jalil Chavez, 5 goals and an assist. The senior forward, number 23, Andres Galicia, at the back, one of the tri-captains, 2 goals, 2 assists, committed to the University of North Georgia, as well as his senior teammate Edgar Vasquez, number 25 in the midfield. Once again, 5 assists, 2 goals so far on the season for Vasquez. They're starting off in a 4-3-3. The 4-4-2 for head coach Matt Cheeves. Christian Sanchez in net, Herman Santana in defense, Ruben Gongora on defense, Ivan Rodriguez, senior, playing both midfield and forward. Angel Salaices, the senior, playing both ways as well. David Saldana in the midfield. Salvador Martinez on defense. Jose Tapia, the sophomore, playing for Matt Cheeves in the midfield. Romeo Chavarria, the senior, older brother of Edwin, on defense. Alan Barragan, the sophomore, playing forward in the midfield. And Darwin Peinado, the senior, for Dalton. We are now underway, once again, thanks to all of our friends and all of our sponsors all season long here on the SDH network. As you picture the match in your mind's eye, Dalton is in their road whites. They have the red Dalton High School D over the heart, red numerals, Catamounts in black over those numerals, white jerseys at the base, white shorts, white socks, pick your shoes. And for the homestanding Knights of Johnson-Gainesville, they are in their dress blacks with the gold numerals, black shorts with gold trim, black socks, and pick your shoes. Here in the first 40, Johnson-Gainesville going from right to left as you picture the match in your mind's eye, and the Catamounts are going from left to right. Last time we were here for the SDH Network in the Game of the Week, it was 2 seasons ago, and it was a 9-goal thriller. 5-4, Johnson-Gainesville got the win. Will we end up with the same kind of matchup this time? Let's find out here over the next 40-plus minutes and 38 and a half here in the first half. Challenge for both Johnson-Gainesville and for Dalton. Ball goes over the end line. It's going to be a goal kick for Dalton and for the junior keeper, Christian Sanchez. And for us here at the SDH Network, we got a bit of a sneak peek, and we're going to be getting a sneak peek for our Tuesday night throwdown matches next week in Dalton, Georgia. We're going to be broadcasting Northwest Whitfield and Dalton for you 5:30 and 7:30 on the matches, and then once again after the matches are over, Jason will be broadcasting Atlanta Soccer Tonight on 92.9 The Game from the press box in Dalton. So it'll be a treat to go and catch up with our friends in Whitfield County and see how life is at Chapel Harmon when we get to see the Catamounts and the Bruins next week. 2.5 minutes in, once again, no score. Through ball nicely done up the left-hand side in the attack. Big save and a challenge, and the shot after the spill by the keeper goes over the bar. First big chance for Dalton in the form of sophomore Jose Tapia. Tapia off of the rebound. If you can believe this, it goes over the soccer crossbar, and it hit the bottom of the football crossbar. That's how close it was as Michael Perez made the initial save, but Tapia was there to pounce on the rebound. Goes in between crossbars. First chance on the board 3 minutes in goes to the Catamounts. Once again, thanks for hanging out with us here for the Hall County versus Whitfield County Football Classic. Up the right-hand side, Johnson Gainesville tries to get out of their own defensive half. Last touched by Dalton. Will be a throw about 15 yards away from center line. Pressure from the Dalton defense turns into pressure by their counterparts from Johnson Gainesville, so Dalton will play it all the way to the back, and they will build once again. Right on the logo. Nice ball into the middle. Tapia looks to his left, just outside the 18. Chipped in, looking far post. Goes to the edge of the 18. Volley down on the ground. Tapia, after 2 bounces, tries to chase after the rebound after it was blocked by the defense of Johnson Gainesville. And it is going to be a corner for Dalton. Here in the 4th minute, going to be a corner. And the first chance that Dalton has to work from close range. So Saldana will take. Saldana with the right hand in the air, going to be an outswinger with his right, goes for the chip to the penalty spot, headed, and it was attempted to be flicked toward the back post, and it goes wide, and it will be a goal kick. And taking a knee after the header, looks like it is Salvador Martinez. And Salvador Martinez, after he takes a knee, up very quickly and heads over to the Dalton bench and head coach Matt Cheeves. Looks like it's an equipment adjustment with the left boot and the left shin pad. Or is he feeling something? We'll keep an eye on that over on the bench. Substitution for Dalton. So Martinez goes to the bench. And coming in for Martinez, Brandon Hurtado, the junior, making his first appearance. Trying to build out of the back. Johnson Gainesville over on the right-hand side, trying to work their way up about 10 yards shy of center line. And the header drill got to 3 in a row. 2 by Dalton, up into the air by Johnson Gainesville, but the pressure early by the Catamounts won the ball, but winning the ball back just as quickly. Jalil Chavez. Chavez down the right-hand side, 10 yards past center line, looking centrally, found his target in David Arteaga. Arteaga toward the top of the arc. Defense was there for the Catamounts, but not cleared all the way out. Once again, Arteaga gets it, 35 yards from goal, and right on the logo, right at the 50 of the football configuration, the American football configuration. Chance for Josue Mendoza to build. Mendoza, long ball. Tries to work its way to the back and shepherded nicely by the Catamounts, and it will be a goal kick. It looks like the Salvador Martinez equipment issue has been fixed, and so Salvador Martinez back in the match. Here early 8th minute, no score. Dalton Catamounts and Johnson Gainesville here on the SDH Network. Throw for the Knights over on their attacking right. A couple of passes. They can't quite keep control of it. It goes over the far touchline. It'll be a throw for the Catamounts, and they'll go back the other way. Looks like Romeo Chavarria, the senior defender, is looking for a little help. He'll get it about 5 yards shy of center line. Throw headed forward, but working defensively, Daniel Trujillo. Trujillo gains possession for the Knights. Nice build-up. Good spin by Alex Gonzalez to keep possession. Gonzalez wearing the captain's armband at the moment. The 2-year starter with his history at UFA. Pass looking for Gonzalez, intercepted. Catamounts trying to regain possession after a little bit of a back and forth, 30 yards from goal. Goes all the way back to Michael Perez, and Johnson Gainesville tries to rebuild again. That rebuild is very short-lived, right on the logo. The back and forth continues. And Trujillo now over to his right, right at center line. Pass down the far touch looking for David Arteaga. Last touch by Arteaga, and it's going to be a throw for Dalton here. 8.5 minutes in, once again, no score. Dalton and Johnson Gainesville. Johnson Gainesville coming in 31 matches unbeaten, 2-time state champ in a row, 23 and 22, national champ in some polls. Frank Zamora wanted to challenge himself early, as did Matt Cheeves from Dalton, so you have this doubleheader here at Billy Ellis Memorial Stadium. Good early season test for both. Johnson at 3-0-1, wins over West Hall, North Hall, drew Meadow Creek at 1. Last time out, it was a 10-0 win at Madison County in Danielsville before this match. Up the right-hand side, just outside the 18. Johnson Gainesville wins possession, and you'll get a foul as Evan Rohde draws the foul, about 15 yards shy of center line. Rohde will yield, and quickly reintroducing Daniel Trujillo. Trujillo and Rohde a bit of a back and forth, 10 yards apart near center line over on the far side. Too far over the touch. Throw quickly by Dalton, trying to work their way once again from left to right as you picture the match in your mind's eye here in the first 40. Awkward fall and collision between a player for Dalton and for Johnson Gainesville. Last touch by the Knights. It'll be a throw about 30 yards from goal over on the far touchline. Sweeping ball, one bounce, big hop. And the second hop after it was popped up into the air, Michael Perez makes the grab. I guess that'll technically count as a save. So first challenge after that initial rush 3 minutes in comes right now here in the 11th minute. And for those of you not familiar, it's a turf surface here at Billy Ellis Memorial. And it does have some hop to it. It really does have some very, very high bounces. And so it's takes a little bit of time for the visitors to adjust to the hops that you see. Full sprint down the right-hand side, Jalil Chavez. Chavez past the defense. Dalton having to backtrack quickly. 2 inside the 18. Chavez tried to get a call on a PK. Ref says play on. Contact was all right. Chavez, a great run of about 60 yards. Contact inside the 18. Chavez tried to get the penalty call, didn't get it, and here comes Dalton once again near center line. 12th minute. Left-hand side. Alan Barragan, the sophomore forward, got through one challenge, didn't get through the second. And here comes Johnson Gainesville again. Chipped forward, looking down the right flank. And the Catamounts were there to defend. And they've got possession near center line. Ivan Rodriguez. No, not that Ivan Rodriguez. Up the left-hand side. Dalton, just inside the 18. Over on the far. Through ball, let go. Chance here for Dalton, and just misses the far post. The chance was there for Rodriguez, and he pulls it just wide here in the 12th minute. big chance, the third chance for Dalton so far here in the first 13 minutes. Substitution for the Catamounts. Will catch it when they're active in the touch. Set to be rocketed back into play by senior Michael Perez down on the ground. Got a good 45 yards on it. Trying to get out of trouble is Daniel Trujillo, the junior forward. He does from right to left. Up the left-hand side, Andres Galicia, one of the tri-captains for Coach Zamora. He went looking down the left for Yandel Castillo. Dalton was there. Christian Sanchez, foot into football now, 14th minute. Headed up into the air by Galicia. Tracking it down easily, Josue Mendoza, the sophomore. Two-year starter and a chance to really put the pressure on Michael Perez. A little careless with the ball. Defense was there for Dalton to try to win the turnover. Almost had the chance on net and a slam dunk inside the 6. And a big launch, ground ball from about 30 for Dalton. Second save of the day by Michael Perez. And so now up the left-hand side, back into the middle, it is Josue Mendoza. Close calls on a couple of different chances for Dalton early on here against Johnson Gainesville. As the ball goes up the right-hand side now, 15th minute. Still goalless. Long launch by Herman Santana, the junior defender. And he was looking for Angel Salaices. Trying to get out of trouble was Yandel Castillo. Contact was made with Ivan Rodriguez. Now a bit of an advantage for Johnson Gainesville. Edgar Vasquez. A bit of a back and forth with Daniel Trujillo. Trujillo keeping possession back to Josue Mendoza just inside the defensive half of center circle. Alex Gonzalez back to Josue Mendoza. Trujillo center circle. Off to his right-hand side. Possession continuing for Johnson Gainesville. A bit of a couple of minutes on the clock here where it's been passing back and forth. Johnson Gainesville in control. Trying to find those possible weak spots in the Dalton defense. Haven't found any yet. 16th minute, once again, no score. Johnson Gainesville and Dalton here. Early season test for both of these teams here in Georgia high school soccer. Trujillo knocked down once and twice. No whistle. Stuck with the play. One possession back for Johnson Gainesville, but the pass to the left-hand side. Ended up with Dalton trying to send it long, and you end up with contact between Yandel Castillo and Angel Salaices. And it ends up being a foul on Salaices. About 10 yards shy of center line as Dalton tries to work it up the right-hand side. Chested by Salaices on initial contact. Won back just as quickly by Johnson Gainesville, looking for the long launch up the right-hand side. And Frank Zamora waiting for the first opportunity to make a sub. And it might be some time for Michael Perez to think about what has been going on here in the first 16 minutes or so. Trujillo combines with Chavez. Trujillo again out to the right-hand side, about 5 yards shy of center line. Chip looking for Chavez. Chavez called for the foul as he tried to win possession away from Momio Chavarria. And so, do we get substitutes now? We've got a substitute waiting for Dalton and a couple waiting for Johnson Gainesville. Not yet here, 18th minute. Ruben Gongora, the sophomore. Up the right-hand side to Salaices. We've seen Salaices since his time 2 years ago with the last match that these two played here, offside on the call. Still waiting for the substitutes. Once again, two for Johnson Gainesville. One would be replacing Michael Perez. And the other for Dalton looks like it's Robinho Lopez, the sophomore midfielder, at the next chance. Edgar Vasquez thought he won possession. Got called for the foul on a bit of a clear out, according to center ref. Vasquez not happy with the call, launched the ball against the fence line. Quick conversation with center ref. So 15 yards shy of center line in their own defensive half. Dalton gets back to business. Pass intercepted. 2-on-3. Vasquez on a 45-degree angle tried to go with a long outlet on the diagonal. Now it's 3-on-4. Chance here for Arteaga. Arteaga into the middle. Won by Trujillo. Trujillo gives to Vasquez. Vasquez doing some nifty footwork, and from 20! Parried away at the far post, and we were that close to the first goal on the board. Now the substitutes come in. So Benjamin Villatoro, the ninth grader, checking in for Michael Perez. So the ninth grader substitutes for Michael Perez, he's having a bit of a conversation over at the Johnson-Gainesville bench after what happened in the first 19, 20 minutes or so. Chance off the post just now. Dalton had an opportunity to come back in transition, couldn't do it. Headers stopped at 2 in the back and forth. Friendly fire by Ivan Rodriguez. He tried to launch it forward, did so off a teammate, popped up straight in the air, but Dalton kept possession. 30 yards from goal, right-hand side. Pulled back quickly, looking toward the penalty spot. Hits a couple of players for Johnson-Gainesville. Pops back outside the 18. Ivan Rodriguez had possession, lost it. Pressure from Johnson-Gainesville. And David Saldana closed down on by Yundo Castillo. And here comes a rush up the middle for Johnson-Gainesville. Miguel Duran was looking up the right-hand side for Grayson Higgins. Too much was there. And so here comes Dalton once again, trying to calm things down momentarily up the right-hand side. Chipped forward. Partial deflection. Looking after it, Andres Galicia. Galicia turns with the left, up the left-hand side. Headed down. Space for Dalton. Ivan Rodriguez looking into the middle, and too much on the contact that time by Salvador Martinez on the through ball as he was looking up the left-hand side. It'll end up being a goal kick for Villatoro, who's had 5 saves so far this season, as we've just passed the halfway point here in the first 40 minutes. Back and forth 40 minutes. It's been a fun first 40. A couple of quick notes. Sponsors here for the SDH Matches of the Week. Reverb by Hard Rock Atlanta. We mix it up with coffee, cocktails, beats, and sleep, perched across the street from iconic Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the heart of downtown Atlanta. Reverb brings you an amped-up guest experience. Come for the rooftop bar with phenomenal views of the vibrant Atlanta skyline, and stay for the atmosphere. Reverb by Hard Rock Atlanta, proud sponsor of the Matches of the Week here on SDH. Ball goes over the end line. Looks like it's going to be yet another goal kick for Johnson-Gainesville. Substitution coming in for the Knights. And it looks like Arteaga is going to catch a breather. And looks like Jonathan Velasquez, the 9th grader's coming in. Turnover again by Johnson-Gainesville. Didn't quite get the shot that they were looking for. And Jose Tapia, pressure continues from the Catamounts, but the defense is there to deflect the shot. Once again near post. And Villatoro will grab just outside the 6 on the near post, and he will roll it forward. Pressure once again from Dalton coming from all angles, and it's been difficult at times for Johnson-Gainesville to manage. Velasquez, the 9th grader, fouled by Salvador Martinez. Trying to go for a quick start, stop the clock at 18:04. And you get a yellow card for impeding the progress of what Johnson Gainesville wanted to do. So Salvador Martinez with the yellow. Substitution coming in for Dalton. Looks like it is going to be Darwin Peinado is back, replacing David Saldana. So 27 in and 12 out. Once again, as you picture the match, Dalton in their road whites, red numerals, the red D over the heart of the jerseys, white shorts, white socks, pick your shoes. And for Johnson Gainesville, they are in their home dress blacks with the gold numerals. Black shorts, gold trim, black socks, and pick your shoes. Contact by Johnson Gainesville, almost a collision that would have been dangerous with Velasquez and the Dalton Catamount that eventually won the ball away. Cleared out by Mendoza. Almost hits the scoreboard at 17 and a half minutes to go first half, but it will end up being a throw for the Catamounts about 40 yards from goal in front of the Johnson Gainesville bench on the far side. Into the corner. Dalton with initial possession. Jordi Acosta trying to win possession for Johnson Gainesville. Last touch by the Knights. It'll be a throw. 15 yards or so extended at the far touchline. Angel Salaices will take, and it looks like he's going to go as far back as he possibly can. Long throw. Looked like it slipped a little bit, but headed away by Mendoza. Volleyed back into the air by the Catamounts. Headed away once again by Johnson Gainesville. Now working up the left-hand side, Edgar Vasquez. Castillo gave him the pass to begin with, and a long ball looking for a partner and a target. Went past Jalil Chavez. Went through the middle of the pitch, far side of the 18. Dalton ended up with it. 16 and a half minutes and counting first half. Back the other way quickly, Edgar Vasquez, edge of the 18. Clatters together with a Dalton defender. Johnson Gainesville had possession, lost it. Catamounts try to chip it forward up the left-hand side, and they can't keep possession, so it will end up being a throw for Johnson Gainesville, this time in front of the Catamount bench 10 yards inside the attacking half. Galicia out to the wing. Yandel Castillo looking far post. It ended up having a lot of spin on it, almost carried to the penalty spot. Easy grab for Christian Sanchez. And Dalton will work once again from left to right here, 15:45 and counting first half. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the SDH Network. Soccerdownhere.mixlr.com is where you'll find all of our live events this year. Archived shortly thereafter, so you can listen to it, and listen to it as much as you want. One-on-one contact. A couple of shoulders ended up being won by Johnson Gainesville. Slide tackle nicely done there to get the ball away from Jordi Acosta by Dalton. Two players, Velasquez and Josue Mendoza, confused as to who was going to take possession. The back and forth continues. Substitutions now coming in once again for Matt Cheeves and Dalton, and for Frank Zamora and Johnson Gainesville. Looks like it's 2 for the Catamounts and 1 for Johnson Gainesville. So it looks like Alan Barragan is back in, the sophomore, number 24. And it looks like David Saldana is back in for Dalton. We'll catch the Johnson Gainesville sub once they get active into play. 14 and a half minutes to go first half. Pressure this time from Johnson Gainesville. Ball now into the attacking half. Turning away from trouble, Ivan Rodriguez. Going fully from left to right now. Gongora, nicely placed up the right-hand side. Tackle as Angel Salaices was trying to turn and get inside the 18. Last touched by Yandel Castillo, and it's going to be a corner for the Catamounts. Under 14 minutes to go first half. Quick corner looking far post, headed away quickly by Evan Rohde, the junior. So it'll be a throw, 10 yards extended. over on the far touchline. So let's see what Dalton has in mind here. A couple of players cycling in just shy of the edge of the 18. A couple of passes. Defended well by Rhodey over toward the far corner flag. Joining in is Jonathan Velasquez defensively. Last touched by Velasquez, and it's going to be a corner for the Catamounts. Looks like Salvador Martinez will take over at the far corner flag. Left hand in the air should be an in-swinger with the right. Now right hand in the air, in-swinger with the right. Looking toward the penalty spot, toward the top of the 6, headed away by Josue Mendoza again. Chance for a bit of a rush. Stopped pretty quickly there by Dalton about 30 yards from goal. Romeo Chavarria was there to gain possession back for Dalton. Last touched by Johnson Gainesville. Swept at and cleared, and there's a lot of empty space. 12 and a half minutes to go first half. Cycling through the gears, Junior Castillo to Edgar Vasquez. Just outside the 18, he wants to load up that right foot. Tried to chip it past the defenders, and it hit the defenders instead. Helping out Jordi Acosta. Acosta swept in and pushed in on the back post. Acosta tried to get it past the near post, and it worked its way through the legs of Christian Sanchez. Junior Castillo. 28th minute. And Yandel Castillo gets credit for the marker. His first goal of the early season. The defender had an assist. Chance was there at the near post. Tried to sneak it past. Goes through the legs of the keeper for Dalton, Christian Sanchez. Yandel Castillo, sticking with the play, is there at the back post. Pushes it into the net. And it's 1-0 to the home side. 12 minutes to go first half. Pressure coming from both sides. It's been a joy to see the pressure defensively from both of these teams so early in the season. And there's been a lot of back and forth, which is what we anticipated with these two teams, much like we had the last time we were here. Didn't necessarily think that we'd be getting 9 goals today, but we have been getting a lot of back and forth, sticking with it nicely. Andres Galicia. Double team now in the near corner by 2 Catamount defenders. Galicia doing a great job trying to keep possession. Last touched by the Catamounts. It's going to be the deepest of deep throws near the near corner flag. Nicely done to shoulder the ball. Edgar Vasquez to win possession for Johnson Gainesville. Last touched by the Catamounts and by Robinho Lopez. So under 11 minutes to go now first half. And Johnson Gainesville with possession, working it up the right-hand side. Now in the attacking half. Vasquez with the attempted flick, hit a defender first. Jordi Acosta sticking with it. Too much, trying to connect with Evan Rhodey on the overlap. 10:40 and counting first half. Once again, 1-0 to the home side. Quick thanks to our friends at Subaru of Gwinnett, 2950 Satellite Boulevard in Duluth, proud sponsors of all the soccer that we have here on SDH, all the levels. Subaru of Gwinnett, great partners of the beautiful game here on the SDH network. Throw in by Yandel Castillo, 15 yards from center line here on the near side. Working it over from left to right. Long ball by Josue Mendoza. He was looking for Edgar Vasquez, just past center circle. 10 yards or so inside the attacking half. Dalton was there, had it read all the way. And it looks like 9:46 in counting first half. Dalton's going to get another substitution. And it looks like Francisco Torres. We'll see if it's Torres or Tapia. The red numbers with the black trim on the back of the jerseys do kind of blend together when you have 6s, 8s, 9s, and 0s. So we'll see with the activity that goes on for the Catamounts, who is in the match now. 9:15 and counting first half. Last touched by Dalton on the throw, about 20 yards from goal. And here comes Johnson Gainesville up the attacking right once again. Evan Rohde will secede the throw and foul call. So Rohde will secede the free kick. And Mendoza, foot into football, gets it to the 10 yards inside the attacking half as he was looking for Edgar Vasquez. Vasquez tried to get around 2 Catamount defenders, couldn't do it. Jonathan Velasquez was there to help. Pass by Dalton. Picked off by the home side, and they'll rebuild. Left side near center line, Yandel Castillo was looking into the middle, trying to pair with Junior Castillo. No luck. Dalton was there. 3 headers in a row, 40 yards from goal. Chance now for Dalton to build. Pass was behind one of the intended targets in David Saldana, but the Catamounts sticking with it now. Slide tackle, nicely done there by Rohde. 20 yards from goal. Going to be a throw for Dalton here under 8 minutes to go first half. Throw completed just inside the 18. Rohde there as a part of the double team for Johnson Gainesville. Tried the fancy footwork to get out of trouble. Couldn't get out of trouble, but it ends up being a foul on Dalton. So 7 yards away from the corner flag, up the right-hand side, free kick. Vasquez looking for help. Alex Gonzalez up the left-hand side. Junior Castillo. Castillo loses possession. Ruben Gongora was there, the sophomore. He gives to Ivan Rodriguez. Rodriguez taken down 30 yards from goal, and you're going to get a set piece for the Catamounts here coming up on 7 minutes to go first half. Tried to turn the corner, taken down with the slide tackle, and so now you have Rodriguez 27 yards from goal. Ball's at the 17-yard line in the American football configuration, so 27 yards from goal. Saldana is there. Ivan Rodriguez is there. So is it Saldana with the left or Rodriguez with the right? 4-man wall for Johnson Gainesville. Getting their instructions from Villatoro. One runs over, the other runs through and just misses the near post. Hooked it around the wall. Great idea by Ivan Rodriguez. He worked it around the wall and just to the outside of the near post. And so Villatora did get a touch. So it will be a corner for Dalton here on the near side. Saldana, right hand in the air, chip toward the penalty spot, settled down, off the crossbar, deflected, hit 2 defenders for Johnson Gainesville, saved once again, bodies down inside the 18, and just cleared to catch their breath, Johnson Gainesville. 1 off the crossbar, 2 in the pack, third chance deflected just outside the 18, finally controlled briefly. So Dalton with a mad rush. Throw looking toward near post, headed up into the air, bounced, and it hit the football goal posts, and so it'll be a goal kick. Dalton with some chances here late in the first half. 5 minutes to go, and we were that close to being tied at 1. Mendoza, after getting the feed from Villatoro, gets the return, looking long up the right-hand side. And Rohde tried to coerce a touch from Dalton's pressure, and it didn't happen. So about 10 yards into the attacking half over on the far side, it's a throw-in for Dalton here, coming up on 4.5 to go first half. Josue Mendoza clears for Johnson Gainesville, but Dalton coming back into the attack. Long right-footed diagonal about 30 yards from goal here on the near side. Junior Castillo trying to chase. Herman Santana, the junior, was there to grab. And now Dalton will try to build up the left-hand side. Coming up at the half, we'll take you through the state, get you some of the early scores, let you know what's going on when it comes to the 210, if my math is correct. It's either 200 or 210 matches that are going on tonight, both in girls and boys soccer here in the GHSA. 35 yards from goal, long throw. We mentioned those big hops. Chance was there for Ruben Gongora to clear. He couldn't quite do it. Jonathan Velasquez, the 9th grader, gives to Andres Galicia. Galicia back to center line, and Josue Mendoza on the near side. Good, quick touch. Mendoza collides with a catamount. Ball has a big spin to it. Galicia tries to drive with it about 30 yards from goal. Jordi Acosta tried to find a partner on a pass, and here comes Dalton back the other way, right at center line. David Saldana out to the right. Salaices gets away from Alex Gonzalez, but he couldn't quite keep control, and it's going to be a throw for Johnson Gainesville, it looks like. Say 15 yards or so from goal here on the near side. Long throw in the air as Junior Castillo tried to settle in and gain possession. You're going to get a foul. I think it's a foul on Edgar Vasquez, or I'm going to turn it the other way. Vasquez was being defended by Romeo Chavarria, so it's going to be on Chavarria. 5 yards inside their defensive half. Josue Mendoza will go long and diagonal. Up into the air, and contact with Rhodey was missed. And so Dalton will build up once again as we're now under 2 minutes to go first half. Mendoza with it, 15 yards from center line. Turnover. Slide tackle to attempt to get it away from Salaices, unsuccessful. Now you're going to get Salaices wanting a foul. And Salaices is saying that he was fouled inside the 18. And it was just outside the 18, placed by center ref, literally a ball's width outside the 18. Here on the near side, coming up on 1:15 to go first half and counting. Saldana, the senior, 3 in the wall for Johnson Gainesville. Villatoro shading to the far post. Saldana going right on target, headed away by Johnson Gainesville. Flipped up into the air, headed once and twice. Now under a minute. And here comes Dalton once again. Clearance off of Rhodey, going backward toward the end line. Mendoza there. Sends it looking for Junior Castillo. And now there's a bit of a rush for Johnson Gainesville, and you're going to get a foul. Fans here at the Dungeon wanted advantage, probably rightfully so, considering that Junior Castillo had kept his footing and had a bit of a space. He had some space between himself and the Dalton defense. Castillo looking into the middle, coming up on 10 seconds, and you're going to get a foul on Johnson Gainesville as they were trying to work the ball centrally. Contact about 30 yards from goal, and that really should do it for the first half here at the Dungeon. 40 minutes in the books at Billy Ellis Memorial Stadium, and Yandel Castillo's goal in the 28th minute has been the difference. Johnson Gainesville, unbeaten in 31 consecutive matches, back-to-back state champ, national champion in 2023, and they now have a lead at home in the back into the doubleheader here in the Hall versus Whitfield Futbol Classic. Before we go to break, a reminder that our friends at Alliance Nurse Corp, proud sponsors of everything here on the SDH Network. Alliance Nurse Corp understands the sacrifices it takes to be a nurse in today's world. With over 30 years' experience, they've put in the time to understand what it takes to find the perfect fit and what today's nurses desire most. Alliance works hard to ensure higher than industry standard pay rates, loyalty rewards, and will do whatever it takes to find the best fit for you and your happiness. Visit AllianceNurseCorpInc.com/job board to start your journey to the nursing position that's perfect for you. SDH's High School Match of the Week presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. Kaiser Permanente for all that is you. And it's also presented by our friends at Reverb by Hard Rock Atlanta. Reverb by Hard Rock Atlanta, we mix it up with coffee, cocktails, beats, and sleep. Perched across the street from iconic Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the heart of downtown Atlanta, Reverb brings you amped-up guest experiences. Come for the rooftop bar with phenomenal views of the vibrant Atlanta skyline and stay for the atmosphere. Reverb by Hard Rock Atlanta, proud sponsors of soccer on all levels here on the SDH Network. So when we come back, we will get you ready for all the action going on around the state and get you ready also for the second 40 minutes. This is the SDH Match of the Week presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. Stick and stay. We will be right back.
What is this virus? It's stigma.
Stigma promotes an environment of shame,
fear, and silence,
which prevents millions of people from seeking help.
But there's good news.
The National Alliance on Mental Illness believes stigma towards mental illness is 100% curable.
So do yourself and everyone a favor.
Go to curestigma.org and get tested for stigma.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Welcome to the Halftime Report. My name is Madison Cruz, taking over for John Nelson while he takes a needed break after calling the first half of this amazing game between Johnson High School and Dalton High School, where Johnson leads Dalton 1-0 at the half. Now, we'll give you scores around the state of Georgia. There's over 200 games going on right now for both girls and for boys. For looking at some of the boys' standings right now, a lot of games are currently in progress, but one game is in the second half live. Savannah Arts Academy and Tattnall County. Tattnall County leads Savannah Arts High School 2-0 in the second half, as well as a very, very huge score here in the second half. Woodland leads Paulding County 10-0 in the second half. Many other scores going on. East Forsyth currently leads Walnut Grove 2-0 in the first half. And many other games are in progress, such as Jefferson, East Jackson, Madison County and North Oconee, Mill Creek, and Central Gwinnett, Roswell and North Gwinnett, Prince Avenue Christian, Weismeister Christian Academy, and many others. Make sure you check all those games out. And then Putnam County and Georgia Military College are at the first half. They are 0-0. Now, looking at some of the girls' games happening right now, a lot of them have already finished. So looking at some of them, Washington County and East Lawrence, that finished here with 4-0. East Lawrence beat Washington County at the end. We also have Dawson County and Gordon Central. Dawson County beat Gordon Central 9-0. And then Savannah County Day beat St. Andrews 8-1. And then Atlanta Classical Academy beat Lincoln County 2-1 at the end. We also have St. John Bosco Academy and Fidelis Christian beating them 3-1. And then we have Glen Academy versus St. Vincent. Glen Academy beat them 5-3. Then we have Frederica Academy beating Brookwood 8-1. Columbus and Thomasville. Columbus beat Thomasville 2-0. Then we have Pierce County and Villada beating them 8-0. And then St. Mary and Loganville Christian Academy. Loganville Christian Academy beating St. Mary 6-0. Collins Hill beat Decula 4-0. And then Stevens County beat North Hall beat Stevens County 2-0. And then Walnut Grove and East Forsyth. Walnut Grove beat East Forsyth 2-0. Georgia Military College and Putnam County. Georgia Military College beat Putnam County 2-0 at the end. And Roswell and North Gwinnett tied it 2-2. Then we got Clark Central and Ace. Clark Central beat Ace 4-1. And then Jones County lost to Mary Person 7-1, and Rutland and Upsville Lee beat Rutland 3-0. And then Archer beat Newton 12-0, and South Gwinnett beat Meadow Creek 3-1. Rayburn County beat Athens Christian 10-0, and Pope beat Atlanta International 10-0, and South Forsyth beat Duluth 9-0. Gainesville beat Shiloh 7-2, and Worth County beat Bacon County 3-0. And that was your scores around the state of Georgia. We will throw it back to John here in a few seconds for the second half of Dalton versus Johnson.
Welcome back to the dungeon, getting you ready for the second 40 minutes here at Billy Ellis. Johnson Gainesville with a 1-0 lead on the goal by Yandel Castillo in the 28th minute. Attack up the left-hand side went through the legs of keeper Christian Sanchez, and at the back post, Yandel Castillo was there to slam it in the back of the net, and that's where we are, 1-0 after the first 40 minutes, getting you ready for the second half. After this match is complete, next on the board for Johnson Gainesville, 4 days' time, they start region play against Seconder, and that is up here on the 27th, and they have Chestatee on March 1st. They're at North Oconee, and we will have that match. We'll have those matches on the SDH network for you March the 5th from North Oconee High School in Bogart. That's a 5:30 and a 7:30 start. East Forsyth, Cedar Shoals here at Johnson, then they're at Cherokee Bluff at Walnut Grove, and then it's the home stretch. They do have a matchup against Baylor of Chattanooga, the Baylor school. And we'll have that one for you on April 1st as well. Once again, Baylor and Johnson Gainesville. That is a 6 o'clock start here on April 1st on the SDH Network. So we're going to be very, very busy with our friends at Johnson Gainesville this season on the Match of the Week presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. After this one, for Dalton, remember, we will be in Dalton next Tuesday for the doubleheader with Northwest Whitfield, 5:30 and 7:30. Then region play starts for the Catamounts against Calhoun at Cass. Then there's a matchup against McIntosh in Dalton on March the 9th that you should circle your calendars with. And that will get Dalton up and running for the remainder of their season as they bounce through their region play and get you ready for their state championship run. Here for the second 40 minutes, once again, as you picture the match in your mind's eye, Catamounts from Dalton are going from right to left. They are in their road whites. Through ball. Nicely done up the left-hand side at the edge of the 18. Hit the post on the inside of it, and it goes in. Darwin Peinado, 38 seconds into the second half. Peinado, 38 seconds in, Peinado saw an opening, sent it past the keeper, sent it past Villatoro, goes off the inside of the far post, and we are tied at 1. Darwin Peinado with the equalizer. And that's the kind of statement that if you're Matt Cheeves, that's what you're looking for. Making it honors even with 39 minutes to go. Dalton, foot still on the accelerator up the right-hand side. They couldn't quite keep it as they turned inside the 18 in the form of David Saldana, and it's going to be a goal kick for Johnson Gainesville. So Villatoro to Josue Mendoza. Mendoza, and a big grab of Edgar Vasquez, not letting the senior midfielder go anywhere. So 10 yards into the attacking half. Foul on the Dalton Catamounts, and so it'll be an opportunity for a free kick here for Johnson Gainesville. Mendoza up the left-hand side. First touch was to Galicia. They'll rebuild up the left, push in the back by Dalton. And Jonathan Velasquez trying to keep possession. Got some help in the form of Josue Mendoza. Miguel Duran looking up the right-hand side to Edgar Vasquez. Dalton inside their own 18, near corner. Duran won possession, gave to Alex Gonzalez. Gonzalez through ball up the left-hand side, full sprint. Couple of cutbacks left and right, and it's going to be an early corner for Johnson Gainesville as Yandel Castillo, the sophomore, was trying to find a target at the edge of the 6. So Andres Galicia, 3 minutes into the second half, will leave the ball for Edgar Vasquez. Galicia will be the short option. That's where he goes. Quick turn. Chipped in with the left. Header blocked. Right in the right place at the right time. The defense for David Saldana was there in between himself and the keeper. Right place, right time, and it ends up being yet another corner over at the far corner flag once again. Pressure now from Johnson Gainesville, yet another short corner. Edge of the 18. Entry pass is blocked, popped up into the air. And coming down with it, Jose Tapia. Now up the right-hand side, Alan Badagon, the sophomore. That rush was stopped in a hurry by Velasquez, who was doubling back from his front line. Throw it on the right-hand side. Back and forth with the Catamounts. Two defenders are there for Johnson Gainesville. Velasquez now trying to get away from the double team of Rodriguez and Saldana. And it's going to stay with Johnson Gainesville. Four and a half minutes into the second half. Goal on the board, 38 seconds in by Dalton. Peinado with the equalizer. We're tied at 1. Middle of the park. Alex Gonzalez. Looking to Josue Mendoza. Mendoza coming all the way from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, 10 yards into the attacking half. David Saldana trying to impede his progress. And he does, and will end up being a throw for the Catamounts. Header off the throw. And Peinado couldn't keep it in. Substitution coming in for Johnson Gainesville. Looks like Yandel Castillo is going to get a bit of a break. Adrian Ruiz getting his first minutes here in the match tonight. Throw in was almost a great through ball, and contact was made. Heavy contact, looked like by Herman Santana. And it might have been a boot to the face as Santana was trying to defend. Fizio is out in a hurry for Johnson Gainesville. Clock is still going as we're under 34 minutes. Trying to see who it is on his back. So now clock is stopped at 33:40. Fizio helping the Johnson Gainesville player up. Getting a second person to help out and usher the player over to the Knights bench. Now, it looks like it was Jordi Acosta. So they're going to look at Jordi Acosta over on the Johnson Gainesville bench. And the whistle kicks back in. Coming up on 6.5 minutes in here in the second half. Swiped at and missed initially by David Arteaga. And here comes Dalton down the left-hand side. Peinado, who scored the equalizer, almost got inside the 18 before the defense caught up with him. Chested down. Gongora tried to turn the corner. Contact from Junior Castillo. And now 20 yards inside the attacking half, trying to dodge all the traffic from the defense of Dalton is Edgar Vasquez up the left-hand side. Vasquez drawing a lot of the white jerseys all match long. Step over by Velasquez, keeps the ball on the left-hand side into the corner. Both teams calling for it as it goes out. And it's going to be a corner for Johnson Gainesville. Short corner. Quickly in, Edgar Vasquez looking toward the penalty spot. Ball deflected, popped up into the air. Contact, player down for Dalton. Sent away by the Catamounts, and it's going to be a throw about 35 yards from goal on the near side in the form of Evan Rohde. Rohde looking for an inbound target. Found it in Velasquez. Defense for Dalton. Shielding the 18-yard box on the near side. So Rohde once again will leave it for Vasquez, about 20 yards from goal here near side. looking right to the penalty spot. One hop, chested and cleared by Dalton, but not all the way out. Josue Mendoza. Long contact into the corner, looking for Arteaga. Arteaga tried to keep possession on Ruben Gongora, couldn't do it. And it's going to be a goal kick for the Catamounts 8.5 minutes into the first half. Up the left-hand side. Went from Barragan as he was looking for Saldana. Romeo Chavarria with the throw in. A couple of quick passes to Salvador Martinez. Martinez on the long diagonal. It's there. Chested down. Defense from Adrian Ruiz, getting his first action in the second half, is there to help out toward the penalty spot. Headed away, but not all the way out with the left. Defense is there for the Catamounts. Ball on the ground again. Cleared away by Andres Galicia, but not all the way out. Possession about 30 yards from goal, far side. 20 yards now. 2-on-2. Swept in with the right. Up and over everything. It looked like it hit the football crossbar, but it stayed in play. Chance for Johnson Gainesville to clear, and they can't. String of possession here for the Catamounts. Once again, cycling it again over on the far side, looking toward the edge of the 18. Top of the box. Flick and a big save. Full extension once and twice. Peinado had a chance. And then the rebound was there, but both times to answer the ninth grader, Villatoro. Coming up big here early in the second half, 10 minutes gone. Dalton really dialed up the pressure here in the first 10 minutes of the second half. Trying to go 1-on-3 is Edgar Vasquez. And the result, the anticipated result, is Dalton coming up the right-hand side. Galicia sends it back into the attacking half for Johnson Gainesville. The defenders were there for the Catamounts. Couldn't keep it in, goes over the touchline. Salaices couldn't keep it, and so it goes to Johnson Gainesville. Vasquez, remember, heading to the University of North Georgia, looking for Velasquez in and around center circle. Catamounts are there. Galicia fields it, sends it back to Villatoro at the edge of the 18, right in the middle. Villatoro looking for a target. Found one. Flick header, Junior Castillo. Couldn't connect with Arteaga. Up into the air. Galicia takes a bit of a nasty fall. Went up into the air. Alan Barragan was there for the Catamounts. And Galicia is a little worse for wear. He does stand up. Clock is not stopped. 11.5 minutes in. So they're going to call Barragan for the foul. It'll be a free kick about 30 yards from center line. Long launch down the left. Vasquez tried to post up. In and around Ruben Gongora, he does. Tried to launch a rocket from about 20 yards. Gongora was there. Substitution for Johnson Gainesville. That'll do for Jonathan Velasquez for the near time. Ninth grader put in some solid minutes. So Jalil Chavez and Daniel Trujillo back in. But yeah, solid minutes for Jonathan Velasquez, the ninth grader. Pass back to Christian Sanchez. The AR said that Sanchez kept it in. Did not go over the end line. 12.5 minutes in, second half, tied at 1. Here at Billy Ellis Memorial Stadium, the SDH Games of the Week. This time around just happened to be the Hall versus Whitfield County Futbol Classic. Match number 1. 2-1 win for East Hall over Northwest Whitfield. Right now this one's tied at 1. Here in the 14th minute of the second half, 54th overall. Set piece for, or free kick for Dalton. Just inside 50 yards from goal over on the far side. Gongora looking top of the 18, headed away easily by Mendoza. Headed back. And they're going to call Evan Rohde for a handball about 35 yards from goal. And so Rohde will now give a set-piece opportunity here for Dalton on the near side. A couple of yards this side of the football hash marks. Saldana, three-man wall for Johnson Gainesville. Right hand in the air, looking on target, one-hop easy grab for Villatoro. Had it tracked the whole way. Villatoro substituted in by head coach Frank Zamora in the first half after Michael Perez had a couple of nearby chances. Chance chipped on a rush up the left-hand side by David Arteaga. Goes up and over the football crossbar and through the uprights on a very steep angle. So give Arteaga credit for the aim, getting it through the American football goalpost. 14 and a half minutes in, 15th minute, 55th minute tied at 1. Sanchez, right on the logo. Flick header, cleared away by Miguel Duran. Gongora, right on center line, throws it in down the right-hand side in the attack. Trujillo and Arteaga combine. They go back to Villatoro. Villatoro, bit of a dicey moment in control. Dalton challenging the ninth grader. And the ball gets sent into the middle third. Another close call. The ball handling of Johnson Gainesville tonight, this time from the ninth grader, Benjamin Villatoro in net. Rohde with the slide tackle trying to keep possession. Here right at center line away from Romeo Chavarria. Chavarria touches it last. Rohde was about 10 yards further ahead than the center F thought he should. So Rohde will have to backtrack. And he'll gain 3 or 4 yards in his run-up. One by Dalton. Back heel to try to keep it in was Romeo Chavarria, and you're going to get a foul on Jalil Chavez. Coming up on the 17th minute here, second half, tied at 1. Goal in the 28th minute in the first half. Gave Johnson Gainesville the lead. 38 seconds into the second half. Darwin Peinado with the equalizer, and that's where we are right now, tied at 1. Here on the SDH Games of the Week, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. Substitution coming in for Johnson Gainesville at the next opportunity. Fluorescent penny waved in the air, and it looks like Julian Pimentel. So Julian Pimentel headed to Piedmont University when his Johnson Gainesville time is through. Pimentel getting his first minutes of action today here in the 18th minute of the second half. Throw over on the far side, about 5 yards away from center line. Thrown in, headed away by Dalton. Romeo Chavarria with the contact. He heads it away toward the Johnson Gainesville bench. So Johnson Gainesville now substituting once again. Edgar Vasquez in, Junior Castillo out. And back to Josue Mendoza on the throw. Villatoro being challenged again. Ball knocked away in the rush by Dalton. Can they converge and convert? Just inside the 18, near side. Johnson coming back to feverishly defend, and they knocked Jose Tapia off his feet. And they're going to say that Tapia was not fouled, so Tapia did the fouling, and so we're going to go back the other way. Vasquez was the intended target. Herman Santana Sweeps it away, and you're going to get another quick handball, wasting no time. Quick start, which is their prerogative. Chance is in. Wasting no time, doing the quick restart in the back of the net. Alan Bedagon with the goal. And heads up thinking by Dalton on the quick restart in the 19th minute of the second half. And so Dalton has scored twice here in the second half, down 1-0 at the break, and they are now up 2-1 here at Johnson Gainesville. Remember, coming in, Johnson Gainesville had a 31-match unbeaten streak coming into this match tonight. And one of the players is down at 21:40 to go. Physio coming out for Johnson Gainesville. Looks like it's perhaps some cramping here on the evening. And it was in the 60s when the match started. And then as things are here at Johnson Gainesville, when the sun goes down, it gets cold in a hurry. As Maddie Cruz can attest, because she went to the jacket. When she called match number 1, Northwest Whitfield and East Hall, yeah, she was in the sweatshirt. She was doing pretty good. Then the sun went down. She went straight to the jacket. The player that was down for Johnson Gainesville, Andres Galicia, and the hot hands. I forgot about the hot hands, too. Nicely done. Good job. So Andres Galicia was the player down for Johnson Gainesville, and he's being slowly walked off the surface here. Once again, thanks to our friends at Reverb by Hard Rock Atlanta. Reverb by Hard Rock Atlanta, proud sponsors of everything SDH on all levels of soccer here in the SDH footprint. Reverb by Hard Rock, we mix it up with coffee, cocktails, beats, and sleep. Perched across the street from iconic Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the heart of downtown Atlanta, Reverb brings you an amped-up guest experience. Come for the rooftop bar with phenomenal views of the vibrant Atlanta skyline and stay for the atmosphere. Reverb by Hard Rock Atlanta, proud sponsors of everything SDH. Clock back underway. Kick underway. Now, how does Johnson Gainesville respond to this? With all the matches that they have had this season, and now they are in a very rare spot. They are trailing at home to Dalton, two teams with fantastic pedigrees here in high school soccer, not just in the state of Georgia, but nationally. So how do the Knights respond down 2-1 here in their own building? Up the right-hand side, the throw from Ruben Gongora. AR over on the far side said it was last touched by Johnson Gainesville. Looks like Angel Salaices is directing some traffic over on the far side, about 20 yards from goal. Extended from the 18. Flick and first touch was by the Johnson Gainesville defense in the form of Julian Pimentel. And so now it's going to be a corner for Dalton over at the far corner flag. Looks like David Saldana is taking the corner. Outswinger with the right on the ground, training ground material there. Swept away by the defense of Johnson Gainesville outside the 18, but not all the way out. Nice imaginative flick, but the flag is up offside on Johnson Gainesville. Ivan Rodriguez, after the very imaginative flick, tried to chest it down and control it, couldn't do it. He was in an offside position, so the whistle occurs, flag is up. Sanchez, foot into football, about 10 yards into the attacking half. defended into the Johnson-Gainesville bench, and so the Catamounts will throw over on the far side. Headed up into the air once and twice. Couldn't be kept in. Last touched by Johnson-Gainesville here. 11th minute of the second half, 51st overall. Line drive throw toward the edge of the 18. Kept in, chipped, headed away. Second chance from Dalton, pulling it out to about 20 yards. Grounder pulled with the left, and it's going to be a goal kick for Johnson-Gainesville, David Saldana. So David Saldana with the opportunity. Once again, pressuring the ninth grader. It's created a lot of close calls for Johnson-Gainesville in defense, and Dalton's had a couple of chances. Another pass that goes wayward, and here comes Dalton once again in their attacking half. Peinado was looking for Tapia. Rhodey now in possession, halfway into their defensive half. And you're going to get a foul on Jordi Acosta as he was trying to get past David Saldana. Saldana passes it over to the right-hand side after the free kick. And Pimentel thought he won possession away from the Catamount that he was challenging, did not. And then the back line for Johnson-Gainesville. Last to touch as it goes over the end line over on the far side, and will be another corner for the Catamounts. 53rd minute. Right hand in the air. Catamounts going toward the edge of the 6. Header just wide. Chance was there for Gongora, and he just misses the far post as they were looking for goal number 3. Pass too much between two Johnson players. Dalton in possession. Rhodey tried to intercept. Didn't work. Last touched by Rhodey. So 20 yards from goal here on the near side. Near the edge of the 18. 1-on-2. Rhodey is there defending. And it looks like it's going to be a corner for for Dalton again here, near side corner flag. Rhodey defending. And as we turn 9 o'clock Eastern time, it's another corner for the Dalton Catamounts coming up on 16 minutes to go with a 2-1 lead. Will be an outswinger with the right. Right hand in the air. Inswinger with the right. Sorry, heading back post. Cleared away. And volleyed right back to where it came from. So it'll be a couple of yards north of about 5 yards north of the corner flag. So it'll be a throw once again for Dalton. Throw looking for Ivan Rodriguez, edge of the 18. Spins away from one defender. Rhodey tries to close down to make it a 2-on-1. Now it's 3-on-3. 3 individual 1v1 matchups. Last touched by Dalton. It'll be a throw for Johnson-Gainesville here, 15 and a half minutes to go. Rhodey looking long up the near sideline. Intended for Edgar Vasquez. And now with a bit of space, here comes Johnson-Gainesville. Pimentel. Lost possession. Gained it back. Pressured quickly. Gonzalez to Miguel Duran. Long run down the left-hand side. Flag stays down. Chance for Pimentel. Tried to chip it past the defender, who was Gongora. Gongora last to touch. It'll be a throw for Johnson-Gainesville. Rushing over is Edgar Vasquez. And so Vasquez, he'll back all the way up to the chain link fence. Let it ride. Flick, header, Chance's ball is down and not a whole lot on it. Chance was there by Pimentel. Kind of scuffed the shot a little bit. Easy grab for Christian Sanchez. Pimentel couldn't quite turn on it. Couldn't quite get full impact on the shot. Back to defend is David Gomez for Johnson Gainesville, the junior. Seeing his first action here in the second half, coming up on 14 minutes to go. Johnson Gainesville having to defend to keep the margin at 2-1 for the Dalton Catamounts. Ball well up into the air. Chavarria had it go forward a little bit. The back and forth continues. And Vasquez tried to touch and turn, but Saldana was called for a handball. And they go all the way back to 2 yards shy of center line for the restart. Vasquez wanted to be about 15 yards further ahead. Rohde tries to sweep it in with the right, deflected, and an easy target to clear for the Dalton defense. Throw by Rohde once again looking for Vasquez. Vasquez pushed down by Salvador Martinez. And you're going to get a set piece from about 20 yards. Some of the Johnson Gainesville crazies found the second ball, threw it in. We don't get money ball for another 8.5 or 9 minutes or so. Rohde from 20 yards away, looking far post toward the penalty spot, headed wide. Jordi Acosta had the chance, had it tracked down, couldn't quite get the angle right. And goes past the far post, and it will be a goal kick. Gongora was kneeling down at the edge of the 6. Thought he might need to take a bit of a break, but he waited until Christian Sanchez got there. Stood up and everything was fine. Coming up on 12 minutes to go. Rodriguez looping ball down the right-hand side. Picked up by Dalton. Pimentel and Trujillo defending down the right-hand side, the attacking right for Dalton. Substitution for the Catamounts coming in at under 12 minutes to go. And it looks like it's Badagon. Galicia in for Johnson Gainesville. Badagon back in for Dalton. And it looks like that Ivan Rodriguez. So foul before the ball ended up in the back of the net. So it ends up being a free kick for Johnson Gainesville. And once again, quick restart, trying to take the same advantage that Dalton did. Down inside the 18, and Vasquez thought that he was going to get the penalty call. He did not. Ball goes over the end line, defended by Dalton, and you're going to get a corner. Vasquez, edge of the 18, wanted to draw it down. Shot right on. Trujillo from about 20. Right at the edge of the D. A seeing eye grounder from Trujillo from 20. Didn't touch anybody. Made it all the way through traffic. Saved by Sanchez. Back comes Dalton, coming up on 10 minutes to go. Chested down, helping out defensively, is Pimentel. Shot right on. Villatoro up into the air. Once again, the 9th graders for Frank Zamora doing yeoman work today. Jordi Acosta, 20 yards shy of the target. Jalil Chavez tried to pass to his left, and that's a foul. It's going to be called on Edgar Vasquez as Vasquez went into the tackle. Let's see what Dalton player he collided with, trying to win the ball away. Clock still rolling, 9:20 and counting. Center ref waves the player back into the play. No crossed arms. And it was Ivan Rodriguez. That was the Dalton player that went down. 9 minutes to go. 2-1. Dalton leading Johnson Gainesville. Christian Sanchez about ready to put foot into football. SDH's Matches of the Week brought to us by our friends at Subaru of Gwinnett, 2950 Satellite Boulevard in Duluth. Subaru of Gwinnett, proud sponsors of everything SDH on all levels of soccer here in the SDH network. Shot chipped. And up and over the net, Pimentel. Mendoza and Pimentel combined at about 23 yards away from the target, and Pimentel couldn't quite hit it flush. Substitutions now once again for Matt Cheeves. Brandon Hurtado checking in, the junior. And the other substitutions made by Matt Cheeves, we will check on them as they're active in the match. Darwin Peinado gets to take a seat. 8:09 to go. So once again, next Tuesday we will be in Dalton for Northwest Whitfield in Dalton, 5:30 and 7:30. And then Jason will have Atlanta Soccer Tonight on 92.9 The Game starting at 10 o'clock. From Dalton after the doubleheader with Northwest Whitfield and the Catamounts. Center Ref having a bit of a discussion with Coach Zamora over at the Johnson Gainesville bench. Rather prolonged discussion.
Ladies and gentlemen, please adhere to our chief state sportsmanship statement. So all fans, please refrain from any profanity at all during the course of play. Thank you.
And there was the announcement apparently during goal kicks. Fans for Johnson Gainesville apparently saying things they shouldn't. So you get the announcement over the PA. Up the right-hand side, Vasquez, 25 yards from goal. Too much on it. Cross, back post, headed down. Flick save! Junior Castillo, point blank, and the save from Christian Sanchez. Cycled through once again outside the 18. Chipped far post. Swiped at. Rohde's got a chance. Rohde bumped. Center ref says no call. Rohde stays down inside the 18. Cleared away by Dalton. 2 chances in a row quickly for Johnson Gainesville. We're now under 7.5 to go. Edgar Vasquez. Long throw toward the penalty spot. Down. Cleared by David Saldana. Not all the way out. Launched up into the air. Deflected and over the end line, going to be a corner. It's getting frantic here in the last minutes of this 2-1 match. Galicia, right hand in the air, left foot, looking toward the penalty spot. Header! Missed it. Stayed in by Junior Castillo. Jordi Acosta looking on the rocket past the far post, trying to combine with Pimentel. And it's going to be a goal kick at 6:40. You get 2 heavyweights like this. This is the kind of matchup that you would expect all the way down to the end. Johnson Gainesville had a 1-0 lead at the break. 2 goals for Dalton. They've got a 2-1 lead. They've had it. We're now coming up on 6 minutes to go. Whistle. Free kick 10 yards inside. the defensive half. Johnson Gainesville. Winning possession back was Galicia. And you're going to get a foul on Galicia after a turnover. And it looks like Saldana is down. Stop the clock at 5:40. And center ref walking again over to head coach Frank Zamora and Johnson Gainesville. And once again, conversation with center ref and Coach Zamora here at 5:41. Clock stopped. Coach Zamora looking for an explanation on something that's happened in the last handful of minutes. Both sets of hands animated. Center ref's hands animated east-west. Coach Zamora's north-south. Coach Zamora looking for a continued explanation. Assistant looking for a continued explanation. And Coach Zamora gets a yellow for his trouble. So it went to the trainer? The trainer got the yellow? So it goes to Joel Barbosa, the trainer, apparently. And Coach Zamora was trying to get Joel away from the discussion that is still continuing. Name written down on the back of the card. Coach Zamora was trying to shield Barbosa from the conversation. So clock stays at 5:41. Now let's kick it back in at 5:40. Dalton launching long inside the 18, headed down. Mendoza. Ball deflected up into the air on the attempted clearance by Trujillo. And once again, through ball by Pimentel as he was leaving it for Castillo. Didn't work. Bodies down all over the place, and we get a whistle. And they're going to call it on Trujillo. 10 yards inside the attacking half. Coming up on 5 to go. Into the air. Salvador Martinez looking way long. Catamounts coaching staff could use that in fall. 4:41. Substitution. Darwin Peinado checking back in.
Substitution for Dalton. Darwin Peinado ready for the match.
Brandon Hurtado takes a seat. Villatoro foot into football, heading towards center circle. Headed 3 times in a row. Rhodey saves it from going out after contact from Junior Castillo. And you're going to get a foul on Johnson Gainesville. 4:20 and counting. Catamounts in no hurry. Don't need to be. Romeo Chavarria yields to Salvador Martinez. Martinez just the defensive side of center line here, coming up on 4 minutes to go. Big launch with the right, and he just goes right down the touchline. And this will be one of the deepest throws you possibly could have without it being right at the corner flag. Pinned Johnson Gainesville in. Saldana stops a rush, launches it into the crowd. Saldana swats at it. Badagan, center circle, has it taken away by Mendoza. Mendoza's had a great game tonight. Alex Gonzalez. Trujillo. Rhodey on the right-hand side. Chests it for control. Not enough on the pass. Hits Peinado instead. Peinado tried to pass it forward. Hit Rhodey on the comebacker. Second chance. Worked down the left-hand side. Villatoro. Flick 1-2. Vasquez. Trying to spin away from trouble. Jordi Acosta. Center circle. Daniel Trujillo. Under 3 minutes to go now in front of the Johnson-Gainesville bench with possession. Pimentel, who's put in minutes here in the second half. Vasquez can't get through 2 catamounts. Second time he does, but he doesn't do it with the ball. Here comes Dalton once again. Tapia. He was looking for Barragan, and in the way was Alex Gonzalez. Gonzalez, 40 yards from goal, far side. Junior Castillo tries to get around traffic. 2 defenders are there for Dalton. Swiped at by Ivan Rodriguez. One back by Andres Galicia. Galicia, the long throw, coming up about 20 yards from goal. And the flick header by Pimentel goes over the end line, and it's going to be a clock stoppage at 2:06 or 7. We'll stop it at 2:02. It'll be a goal kick. Substitutions for Dalton once again. Barragan and Hurtado. Tapia will sit. And Christian Sanchez into the air. Under 2 minutes to go now. Headed down by Josue Mendoza. One back by Dalton. Header for control. Trying to keep the pressure on was Galicia. Point blank. Villatoro with the save at the near post. Chested down. Pimentel on the logo. Through center circle. Behind Rhodey. He has to regroup at 90 seconds. Rhodey goes central. And the target ends up being Dalton. Dalton, long launch up and over the top. Looking for Barragan. Barragan will chase. It'll go over the near touchline. Barragan looks like he's out of gas. 75 seconds. Rhodey. Reversed over the head. Chavarria heads it out of play. Ball boys heads up for Johnson-Gainesville. Gained 10 yards on the throw. Vasquez looking toward the top of the 18. Looking for it to come down with Saldana. Barragan now has 2 teammates with him. Saldana with the left. And they're going to say it's a throw. Last touched by Alex Gonzalez, about 40 yards from goal. In the attacking half, under 40 seconds. Romeo Chavarria into the near corner. David Saldana, marked by Miguel Duran. You're going to get 25 seconds on the clock. And it looks like Dalton is going to come on the road on a corner, 15 seconds to go. Quickly introduced. And Dalton is going to come in and stop the 31-game unbeaten streak of Johnson-Gainesville with a 2-1 win on the nightcap of the Hall versus Whitfield County Football Classic. 2 of the heavyweights in the state of Georgia, 2 of the heavyweights nationally. It was 1-0. Yandel Castillo with a goal in the 28th minute for Johnson-Gainesville. Made it 1-0. That got us to the half. Darwin Peinado scores 38 seconds into the second half to tie it at 1. And then Barragan scores in the 59th minute, 19th minute of the second half to give Dalton the 2-1 lead. They would hang on for the remaining 20-plus minutes and leave the dungeon with the keys and a win. Once again, special thanks to our sponsors here on the SDH Network. Alliance Nurse Corp understands the sacrifices it takes to be a nurse in today's world. With over 30 years' experience, they've put in the time to understand what it takes to find the perfect fit and what today's nurses deserve most. Alliance works hard to ensure higher than industry standard pay rates, loyalty rewards, and will do whatever it takes to find the best fit for you and your happiness. Visit AllianceNurseCorpInc.com/job board to start your journey to the nursing positions that's perfect for you. Once again, special thanks to our presenting partners, Kaiser Permanente of Georgia, Subaru of Gwinnett on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth, and Alliance Nurse Corp, and, of course, Reverb by Hard Rock Atlanta across the way from Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Great doubleheader here in the Hall versus Whitfield Futbol Classic. First match went to East Hall, 2-1 over Northwest Whitfield. Second match went 2-1 Dalton over Johnson Gainesville. We'll be back at it for the Tuesday night throwdown in Dalton on Tuesday night. Northwest Whitfield, who you heard earlier today, against Dalton, who you heard just now. The doubleheader, 5:30 and 7:30 on the SDH network at soccerdownhere.mixlr.com, soccerdownhere.mixlr.com. For Matty Cruz on the ones and twos, I'm just John. Thanks for everybody who listened all night long here to the Hall versus Whitfield Futbol Classic on the SDH network. Play safe, everybody. We will catch up with you soon. And we'll have more action here in the Georgia High School Association when it comes to the best soccer in the country here on the SDH Network. Play it safe, everybody. We'll see you Tuesday night.